Back at it again. Week 10.
Is this the
Fucking
first
A.
week that all of our teams have won? Maybe.
No way, right?
It's been a long time ago, if it has happened.
Well, the Browns are what, 5-3 too?
5-3.
Yeah,
It's had to have happened
probably.
Yeah.
several times this year.
Yeah. Yeah, this game sucked.
Game was fucking awesome. What are you talking about? Nail biter.
It's a nail biter every week. Like, you guys have a fantastic defense, but your offense doesn't do anything until the last drive of the game, and
We had
that's
the
it.
first opening drive touchdown, and God, I don't know when.
Yeah, and you still
Feels
ended
like
with
years.
20 points.
Yeah, they went kind of stagnant after that.
Yeah, this is just who they are. They stick around and do just
Same
enough.
Same script every game. I seen Tomlin got asked about it in an interview yesterday, like what he thought of Kenny Pickett's like performance in the first 3 quarters of games this year. And he just asked, "Why don't you ask me about his performance in the fourth quarters of games?" I think his QBR in the first 3 quarters this year is like 78. His QBR in the fourth quarter is like 103.
But my thing is, like, if you just play better throughout the first 3, then you don't have to be Jesus Christ in the fourth quarter. It's just, if I was a Steelers fan, that would be the frustrating part for me, because it's got to be taking years off your life with all these close games, right?
It's been like that literally since Big Ben's like last year. Never blow anybody out. Every game is close. It's a sweat the entire time.
Yep, but somehow still 5-3.
Kenny finds a way.
This was awesome, unexpected.
What do you mean unexpected? What are you talking about?
Because when they're supposed to do shit like this, they never do. It's the Browns, bud. What do you mean? Do you expected them to go out and handle business when they were supposed to?
It's different when you're fucking playing. That was the saddest excuse of a football team I've ever seen put out on an NFL field.
Right, but it doesn't help. Your first start is against the Browns defense. You know, that kid sucked. Don't get me wrong, but
they were
7 sacks, 2 picks. Watson was, He was really That's like the best you can say, but he did the thing that the difference between him and Walker is he can move and he could actually throw a deep ball, like an accurate deep ball. And that's kind of like what opens up with him being back. And actually wasn't on the injury report in practice so far this week. So that's positive news, I guess, because we have probably our biggest game of the year coming up this week in Baltimore. But yeah, dude, I was just happy to see that for once, you know, they did what they were supposed to.
I turned that shit off after that stupid tip ball.
A 13-point spread, which the Browns never have, and they doubled it.
Dude didn't even make a good play on it. Watson literally threw it off of his face, and it just goes in the air and lands right in Amari Cooper's hands.
Yeah, it's like the same ball that Walker got picked off in the Seattle game.
Yeah, I've seen all the memes about that.
Yeah. And like you said, dude, there's not a less deserving guy to get lucky like that, but it is what it is.
See what they're made out of Sunday.
By the way, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt now have the same amount of sacks, and Myles has better pressure rate, quarterback hits, pressure, fucking everything.
About all
so
that.
Defensive player of the year.
Niche stats.
Defensive player of the year. Oh man. Freaking
Good
Dolphins,
game,
man.
Actually.
It got good at the end. It wasn't. It was 21-0 at first.
Shut the Chiefs out in the second half.
This is the scary part about Kansas City, though, is like in the past, if you shut them out in the second half, well, first of all, you wouldn't. But if you did, you would win the game because the defense wasn't there. But they legit have one of the best defenses in football. So,
The most
like, if
anticlimactic ending.
they can, start clicking and really figure it out on offense, like, very, very good chance they go back to back. But I don't know. The AFC is super tough too, so it could be interesting. Dolphins. We're going to talk more about that when we get to one of our new segments later. But disappointing, to say the least. Probably this was like the most shocking story of the week.
Fucking Dobbs, dude.
Dobbs was traded on deadline day last week, which was last Tuesday. Didn't take a single snap throughout practice that week, and dude that was starting goes down, and he's thrown into the game. He throws for 158 and 2 touchdowns. He runs for a career high 70, runs a touchdown in, and just he's a legit rocket scientist. So he just goes in there and just figures it out. And I think Jefferson's coming off of IR this week. I don't know if he's going to play this week specifically, but they should be getting him back, and that's just like another massive weapon. I mean, he's quite literally the best receiver in the NFL. Heineke, he played decent. He does his usual thing. He's going to throw picks and keep him in it. But
did he finish the game?
when I was looking at the stats, he was
did
the
he
only
get
quarterback. He was the only quarterback on their team that threw a pass. So
I don't know why I thought I heard that somebody else got snaps, but I might have been a different team.
their offense looks better with him than Ritter, though. So I wouldn't be surprised if they keep rolling with him. This one's kind of on the defense.
You can't be giving up 31 points to Dobbs.
Yeah. Oh, man. This is scary, especially because we play them this week. But just like they did against the Lions, they just beat the dog shit out of
Yeah, I did not see this one coming.
No, and this Mitchell guy, I mean, he was flying off waivers this week. He was kind of the hot ad in fantasy leagues because I've never heard of him before, but he goes in and has 140 yards off 9 touches and just tears them apart. I think Odell finally scored a touchdown, so maybe he'll stop throwing helmets and shit, and he got to do his TikTok dance. It was cool. But
yeah, they just ran all over him. Gus Edwards had a good game too, I think.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
tough.
I was gonna say,
gonna be a tough one. He didn't do too much.
If you would have told me the Ravens scored 37 points and he only had like 12 fantasy points,
Yeah, he did not do too much, but he didn't have to.
Sounds like they just shoved it down their throat the entire game.
Yep. All right. This was the game of the week.
Yeah, this was crazy.
CJ Stroud.
Felt bad for old Bake again.
Fucking 500 yards. 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. Look at these bums he's putting up numbers with. Noah Brown, 153 yards. Schultz, 130. Tank Dell, who's a rookie, 114 and 2 tuds. I mean, the kid is just... Is it crazy to say he's already a top 10 quarterback?
We'll see if he can keep it going after there's a year of tape on him. Remember who the all-time rookie passing leader is.
Who is it?
I think it's still Baker, ain't it?
No, I think Herbert passed him, I want to say.
Once his year,
it was like the next year.
We'll see.
He broke Andrew Luck's single game rookie passing record.
Yeah, I knew he broke the single.
He's still on pace for it.
Yeah, and Baker played great, man. He led that what would have been a game-winning drive, went right down the field and threw a dot to the tight end to take the lead, and then they had like 45 seconds, and Stroud just goes right down the field. He's certainly far and away rookie of the year right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think the
I
only
don't think it's
other
even.
one, I don't think there's anybody even. I think that Puka's in second at like plus 500.
Yeah, I don't think it's even close.
Bijan. Yeah.
They don't really use Bijan. It's kind of frustrating.
Right.
Yeah, and their coach said some dumb shit after the game, like just having him out there opens up a lot for the offense. Like just using him as a decoy. It's got to be just insanely frustrating for Falcons fans.
Yeah.
A dude who is as talented as any running back in the league, and you're just using him as a fucking decoy out there.
Yep.
This game was
Oh
stupid.
God, here we fucking
The old
go.
Eagles.
Stupid.
The old Eagles. Get the most favorable whistle in the NFL outside of Kansas City.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just
They called in illegal formation when the quarterback and the lineman both checked in with the referee beforehand, and they still threw a flag. It's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Actually impressive. The Cowboys found a way to lose that game.
I mean, I knew once Dak had it in the red zone, he was going to find a way to butcher it. So,
not even just like the ball being short on the touchdown pass, Dak stepping out of bounds.
I forgot about that.
That was just insane.
That
2-point conversion, stepping out on the 1 yard line.
I forgot about that dude that fucking he completed a pass, but he was like just short of the end zone.
And then you have him first and goal from the 6, and ends up being like 3rd and 23 2 plays later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because he took a bad sack and then threw
really
it away.
Bad sack.
Yeah.
Then threw it away and then got a penalty.
I think I saw Jalen Hurts as like the favorite for MVP, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah,
might be a hot take. I would give it to AJ Brown over Jalen Hurts right now.
Yep.
RG3 he is the favorite.
He put out. Yeah, I mean RG3 put out his picks for MVP right now. AJ Brown's number 1, Tyreek's number 2, and then Jalen is number 3. I mean, not the best
quarterback
the best
award,
game from Jalen. Yeah. Not the best game from Jalen. I mean, but he
is
still
bad.
putting up numbers. He's put up better numbers this year than he did last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not doing terrible. They've cut down on the turnovers tremendously. Bye week this week could not have come at a better time after getting up real slow after that hit that he took.
Yeah, I was worried about him for a second.
I was too, but then I mean, his mentality that he has is unreal. I mean, during the post game, he said to one of the reporters, he said, "For this team, for this city, I'd do anything." Like they asked him about like him taking the hard hit and then getting back up and running right back onto the field, and like he said, "For this team, for this city, I'd do anything."
He said
that's fucking leader. That's the leader that you need.
He's had some pretty good quotes in his post game pressers. But we move. This is like bad news, Jackson. The worst case has happened. I think the Bengals are actually back.
I put that AFC North future on them last week. If the Ravens can just screw up, I'm liking it right now. They look like they found it.
What's
Lamar
crazy
will get
is
injured sometime this season.
What's crazy is they're in last place in the AFC North.
Yeah, that's insane.
They are in last place because of how tough the division is. But yeah, Joe's, 350 and 2 tuds. He's been balling. I kind of put like a prayer on Bill's money line because I had an awful week, and of course it didn't go through. So fade whatever I say when we're making picks later this week because I'm ice cold right now. But bad news unless you're Brady Brooks. Some other games I don't care about. Packers beat the Rams without Stafford.
Carson Wentz to the Rams.
Yeah, they did sign Wentz. I forgot about that. The Commies beat the Patriots. Patriots are 2-7, and there's all sorts of rumors going around. They play in Germany this week against the Colts, I believe. And you can't fire Bill Belichick mid-season after everything he's done for that franchise. But those were the conversations that were being had on TV today.
He just signed an extension.
System coach. Brady was the system.
He signed like a 4-year extension.
That's crazy, but yeah, it's just the rumor mill.
He's a lifer there. He's not going anywhere.
What else? Saints beat the Bears. Colts beat the Panthers. Raiders actually looked really good. That was Jackson's put your mortgage on it bet of the week. And then the Chargers.
Easiest bet I've ever seen. You never an interim coach bet never loses.
Chargers beat the dog shit out of the Jets. It was mainly their defense, believe it or not. Herbert actually didn't play great, but a win they needed and kind of like keeps both of those teams behind the wild card spots in the AFC. So I'm not like too torn up about it.
See who the Raiders have this week. As juiced up as they were after that game, I have to take them again. They're all in with this interim head coach.
I think they have a winnable game again this week.
Before McDaniels got fired, they said after one of their practices, the linebackers coach gave some speech, and like he was talking about like the 9-7 Giants team that beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and like trying to get the team hyped up. And after he was done giving the speech, and like after everybody like kind of split up, McDaniels went up to him and said, "Don't you ever fucking talk about the Patriots again."
Yeah, I heard about that shit too. But yeah, it seems like a completely different vibe with that team now. Devontae seems, more bought in and excited now. They were all smoking stogies like they won the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Vegas stogies.
They got playing quarterback.
Max Crosby wishes he was another skin color. Unbelievably bad. Could not be more obvious. But yeah, I don't know. They could make it interesting because they got a really good defense and they got Josh Jacobs. They got Devontae. Could be interesting. This new segment, Frauds of the Week. Got to talk about them. Josh Allen. My friends that are Bills fans are gonna hate to hear it. You could win the. He's better than Baker and should have been drafted first overall in the 2018 draft, but I would not trust this guy.
I've never been.
If the goal is to win a Super Bowl, because he's way too turnover prone. There's
a lot of value in, again, he does all the flashy stuff. There's value in having a guy that doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
You just can't. You don't win games in the NFL turning the ball over more than once a game. And
they were.
I don't know, just has too many dumb ones.
They were like stirring up a shitstorm about how they only lost to the Bengals because of the snow and the weather that one game, and then they go in there and just did not look great and lost. So
when it works, it's fun to watch when they're on, but
yeah,
they're just never on for more than a couple games in a row.
Dallas is the boys are the next one. I mean, I didn't have to break out a bunch of stats on this one, but it's every year they're America's team and they're going to the Super Bowl, and you just know what's going to happen. It happened this week. Dak and the boys they're driving to win the game, and you just know it's going to fall apart. And they'll make the playoffs. They'll maybe win a wild card game, and then it's going to fall apart. It's just what they do.
Landing on your head makes you do crazy things sometimes.
They're the Cowboys. They'll find ways to screw it up, but looked like the better. They should have won that game.
They should have,
Woulda,
but they
shoulda,
didn't.
man.
It took a couple very fluky things for them to. I mean, in the AFC, I don't think they'd be competitors, but they very well can make an NFC Championship game.
Keep in mind, they also lost to the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid.
So they are capable of shit like that, too. Just like unexplainable shit.
Dak actually played really well.
He did until that last drive, which is the one that matters the most.
Yeah.
Seahawks, after getting smoked this week, they're 5-3. Their wins are against the Browns with PJ Walker. Can't count it. Cardinals, Giants, Panthers, all terrible. I think 1 win, 2 win, 1 win team, and then they have one like pretty good win against the Lions, but fraudulent. Might squeak into a wild card spot in the NFC because the NFC playoff picture is just like more open. No, not more open. It's more attainable than the AFC, I should say.
The Seahawks are what, 5-3?
5-3.
49ers are too.
Yeah, but
Or are they 4-3?
Niners are 5-3.
5-3.
But they started
Niners are
5-0.
Niners are going to go on a tear after this bye week.
Yeah, they just got Chase Young. They're coming off a bye. I would favor them over the Seahawks moving forward.
I would assume Williams is back.
Yeah, that's a big one too. McCaffrey's healthy. I don't know about Debo. I think he's questionable. They'll be all right. But yeah, Seahawks frauds. Obviously, the Dolphins 5-0 against teams with a losing record, 0-3 against teams with a winning record, and they made the Kansas City game interesting, but in all reality, they have not looked good against good teams.
It doesn't make sense here that they can't score more points with that personnel.
So they'll get in. They'll get in the playoffs because they can win the games they're supposed to and beat bad teams, but they ain't going nowhere. Jackson,
No.
I think you hopped on the wrong wagon there early in the year, or you might have just been trolling. But
Yeah, a little bit. It's more just to piss off Port and Red.
Yeah, Dolphins frauds. USC also frauds. Lost again.
Fun game to watch, though.
They get overrated every single year. Lost 3 of their last 4. They got the doors blown off against Notre Dame. They lost by like 27. Lost a close one to Washington, which Washington, if they get in the playoffs, is probably going to get smoked. And they lost to Utah again, who they lost to twice last year.
It was a good reminder. It was a good reminder Saturday night just how comically bad college football defenses are.
Specifically USC's. I mean, it's not all on Caleb Williams, but yeah, and then they have like one score, like I'm talking like 1 or 2 point wins against Arizona and California, and they beat Colorado by a touchdown. So those are all bad teams that could easily have 6 losses. Frauds. All right, so here's the current playoff picture in the AFC. I got to move Jackson's dumb face here so I could actually see what the records are.
All 4 AFC North teams. That's insane.
All 4. It's not going to end that way because they're going to beat up on each other, and I think they all play each other one more time. But just shows you. And then you got, if the playoffs started today, Bills would be on the outside looking in, which is crazy. Texans are right there.
There's got to be somewhere to bet it. If I can find it, I don't think the Bills are going to make the playoffs.
Really?
They got the Jets this week, which they have trouble with for some reason. Then after that, they go Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys 3 weeks in a row. Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers. Close out with the Patriots and the Dolphins. They got a gauntlet coming up.
Yeah, they do. Gonna be tough.
I'm sure they'll win at least one of those. That they'll have one of their good games, but
yeah, but not only the AFC North, but just the AFC as a whole is super tight. All of these teams within a game and a game and a half of each other with 7-8 weeks to go. So should be interesting.
Tim, we jagging off yet?
Uh, no,
Not yet.
no, I'm not. It was more exciting when they were like the underdog.
they're just kind of flying under the radar. Nobody really talks about them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like somebody says the Jags are 6-2. You're like, no, the fuck, they're not.
yeah, they've won
Kind of
5 straight,
boring.
but yeah, they're just annoying, I guess. But they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good.
You know how
Dougie
much
P.
That would
would-
be if the playoffs started today. I think that's who the Browns would be playing in Jacksonville, and I would not love our chances at the current state. But
I would give anything for a first round playoff game, Pittsburgh going into Miami. I would love that matchup so much.
yeah, that would be fucking interesting. That'd be virtually a home game for you guys. Here's the NFC though. Eagles in
Ugh,
first.
ugly.
Yeah, and you got a couple 3 and 5 teams sniffing around. But
I
yeah,
mean, realistically,
Minnesota fighting themselves into a playoff spot. I don't know if that's gonna hold serve the rest of the year. We'll have to see how Dobbs comes along when he actually, is like fully in that system. But
what is it right now? The AFC probably has 5 of the top 6 teams in the league. I mean, we'll see if San Francisco figures it out, but
yeah, I would still
I
take the
think-
Niners over the Jags and the Dolphins and teams like that. But they're top heavy, the NFC. I was just touching on this. I don't know how Ohio State's still #1 after last week, but I guess when you just look purely at strength of schedule, that's probably what's carrying it right now.
I told you why they're #1.
Why?
Because they need an excuse when Michigan dog walks them to get in the 4.
But we were like 3 last year when we lost to Michigan, and they still got in.
Which was stupid, but there wasn't.
It really matters what those, if Ohio State or Michigan lose, whoever loses that game, it really matters what like
What's gonna
the
fuck everything.
next 4 teams do, because they all ended up losing last year. I think it was USC that was like on the border and they lost. But if Bama, I think like if Bama finds a way, no, but they'd have to beat Georgia.
They look like they've kind
They'd
of
have to
figured
win
it
the
out.
SEC.
That quarterback looked good Saturday. I
Yeah, he
watched that
did.
whole game, and you don't keep out Bama if they beat an undefeated Georgia in the SEC championship.
I think Texas will lose another game.
Yeah, they always find a way to fuck it up.
Oregon and Washington will probably play in the Pac-12 championship, and that will probably essentially be a playoff game. Although, if Oregon wins, then that's going to be the debate of, does Ohio State or Michigan get in with a loss to a 1 or a 2 seed, or Oregon beating a non-playoff team. That's where that debate comes into play. I think Texas will lose another one.
I think Michigan's the betting favorite right now. Them and Georgia might be tied.
Yeah,
but I know
it'll be
last week of the top 4 teams, Ohio State had the worst odds to win it all.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of like the more hyped up Michigan Ohio State matchups, just with all the
should be
nonsense
the most hyped
going
one of
on.
all time.
Michigan is now deflecting blame and trying to pin everybody else. You see that shit
Yeah, there's something new. It's hard. There's something new every day that comes out about it.
Yeah.
And that Blake Corum had a business with the Stallions kid.
Hmm.
Crazy shit, but I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's all blown out of proportion, but we'll see what
Probably.
happens.
But I can't wait for that game. That's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be tough. The one saving grace is our defense has been phenomenal this year, which it was not last year. But the
Mhm.
offense is just not pretty. So
I
like
just
it's gonna
hope
have to be defense keeps us in the game.
I hope they don't do some dumb. Like I want Harbaugh on the sideline for that game.
They won't suspend him in season, I wouldn't think.
All the rumors were that he was going to get something Monday, but nothing.
No. That's gonna be a long investigative process that gets drawn out. Probably gets suspended first 4 games of next year when they're playing Kent and Bowling Green.
Yeah, they got Penn State this weekend, so we'll see.
Yeah. Is that in Michigan or is it at
It's
Penn
in
State?
Happy Valley, I think.
Ooh, that's a tough place to play. Could be interesting.
Pretty sure it's at Penn State.
But Penn State's offense looked awful against Ohio State, so another
Yeah,
legit defense. It could be tough.
the Aller kid stinks.
I mean, he's better than the other kid that was there for 8 years. But let's get into Week 10. All the primetime games suck.
Stinker.
This is one of the worst games of the year, and it's a primetime game.
Yeah, will ever find really anything else to watch.
I don't
That
even
game sucks.
know.
There's got to be a fucking Mac game on or something.
I think the Bears should win. I don't know if they cover, but that other Fields backup hasn't been terrible, and Carolina's really bad. So,
It's a joke to put that on primetime.
yep. Early Sunday, Colts and Patriots in
Okay.
Germany.
Ooh, Texans Bengals actually might be a good game.
I can't wait for the Browns Ravens game. That's such a big game.
Yeah, that
When
one.
we played them last time, we lost 28-3, but that was the DTR start where he threw 3 picks and just
Yeah,
looked awful.
I'll have to have the Steelers and Browns on the multi-view Sunday for sure.
I think we keep that game interesting. I'm not going to say we win because Baltimore's been phenomenal, especially at home. But I think we keep that game more interesting than people think.
Yeah, 6 points is too much for an AFC North matchup.
Yeah, and this is a big test for not only Deshaun but the defense too, because they did give up 28 last time out. Texans Bengals could be interesting too. I don't know if I like Cincy as 7-point favorites against them, but they are at home. They should win.
This screams classic Tomlin trap game. This one scares me.
There's no way you guys lose to the Packers
Like Tomlin will find a way to lose
at
to
home.
underdogs at home. He will find a way.
I was going to say this is going to be business as usual. You guys score a late touchdown and scrape by again.
The Packers defense is actually good. So they
But
just
their
can't move the ball
offense
at
is
all.
awful. Yeah. Against your defense, I think you guys should win that.
Might be another 17-14.
Niners
Ugly one.
Jags, man, that should be a good game. I kind of wish it was in the later window because it's going to be hard to keep up with all these games early.
I really like the Niners in that one. Their backs are getting to be against the wall now.
Yeah, I mean they're 3-point favorites on the road, so I think everybody's kind of leaning that way. Late Sunday,
Lions Chargers, that won't be bad.
mostly stinkers. Lions Chargers is going to be like the one that is worth
Stinker,
watching.
Giants, Cowboys. Stinker, Commanders, Seahawks.
Seahawks probably win, but then we get to Sunday night.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not a pretty week. It's really not.
Although, might have to go back-to-back weeks and liquidate all assets and put them on the Raiders. I love them.
Yeah, they're going to be dogs at home. So you
That
hit the
Jets
money line.
Monday night looked like they've never
Terrible.
played football before.
Yep. And then
Love the Raiders Monday night
this one's all right.
or Sunday night.
This is probably a win. Like the Bills should win this, but I think the Broncos cover. I'm not going to lie to you.
And this is a game that, yeah, Broncos defense can make it ugly. Throws a couple picks. Anything can happen. This also could be a game that the Bills come out and score 45.
Yeah,
the
they're
doors off of them, but
also capable of that. But I guess it's better than the other two primetime games, but it's really a tough slate this week for Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night games. But that'll be it. Spurs lost their first game of the season. They were the last unbeaten team in the Prem, so I mean it was bound to happen. And
one of the most hectic halves of any sport I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but everything I saw was like it was the most entertaining game of soccer in a long time.
They came out, scored off the rip. Sonny was literally an inch offsides. It should have been 2-0 from the first 15 minutes. And then Romero should have got a red card. Didn't. Then ended up getting a red card. And it was just an all-out fucking brawl from there. Just card after card after card after review after review.
Stevens,
but we'll see. Wolves 7:30 Saturday morning.
Yeah. What's going on with the with NASCAR?
Season's over.
It's over. Who won?
Ryan Blaney is your Cup Series champion.
There you
Northeast
go.
Ohio kid, right?
Yeah, he's from Cam's area, Hartford Township.
Nice. So
big
that's
win
over.
for him. First
Baseball
championship.
season. Baseball season's over. NASCAR is over. We got basketball, football, and hockey and soccer right now. All right. It's going to do it.
I wanna